Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, in a new brand episode of Pro Wrestling Culture. Here I am, the real Messiah, and with me, my right hand, the Professor Matteo Pagliarella. Hi, Prof.
Hi, Messiah, and with us a very, very special guest. Ladies and
The
gentlemen,
Progress Wrestling World Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Spike Trivet. Hi, champ.
Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. How are you?
we're fine,
Very,
we're
very
fine.
good.
So
Very,
good.
very good.
Good.
And you,
Good. Thank
champ?
you for having me. I'm
Oh,
all right. I'm
absolutely.
very good. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me to come and speak on your platform. It's very kind. I appreciate it very much.
It's a
It's
big
a
pleasure
pleasure.
for us. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Spike, you are the Progress Wrestling World Champion, a symbol of
Hmm.
class and respect inside this business, in particular inside the indies scenario in Europe. You are the champ since your victory against Big Demo in 4 seconds. and
Yeah. Yeah.
now and now, after many title defense, you consolidated your role as a champion in progress.
Yeah.
What do you expect for this reign?
Mm. Well, I don't really know. To be honest, I didn't really. The rain kind of caught me by surprise, really. So there was a time at the end of 2021
Yeah,
where 2021 was a very difficult year for me and for me personally and my family. And there were times when I didn't think I was going to. There were times where I didn't think I was going to be able to carry on wrestling or be a wrestler in general. So when I entered 2022, really I entered it. I thought, 2022 will kind of be my tester year. So I'll see what I can do, and I'll try to just have as much fun as possible. Try to tell as many stories as possible. Just try to get out of it. I sort of lost my way with it with wrestling in lots of ways, and I think that's something that a lot of wrestlers go through, is that they get into wrestling and then they fall in love with it and stuff happens and then they kind of lose their way with it, and they go down uh, paths that aren't suited to them or just whatever. And I don't think the feeling that I had is an exclusive experience. I think many people have felt that way. And so yeah, I went into 2022 thinking I'm just going to try to have as much fun as possible and just be the wrestler I want to be. I'm going to stop trying to please everybody, uh, and I'm going to try and do it my way. And but I was also very prepared to be like, this might be my last year. This might, if it doesn't go,
Mhm.
if by the end of 2022 I'm not feeling, um, if by the end of 2022 I'm not feeling like I'm not feeling contented with it, or I haven't accomplished anything, or I've not done anything that I feel is worthwhile, then I'll happily be able to be like, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. Uh, so I didn't really walk into 2022 expecting anything big. So and that got me surprisingly far. So so I don't have a lot of goal. I don't have many expectations, uh, really. What I want to do with it is what I want to do is I just want to take every show as it comes, every show as it comes, every story as it comes. Try to make everything as try to try to get everything I can out of every situation, and then hopefully uh, by the time uh, when it's time to move on, and when someone else has taken it, then hopefully the belt will have a lot of prestige on it. It'll be something that um, it'll be it'll be it'll be just as prestigious as it was before I won it, and as prestigious as it's always been. I think that a babyface, if you have a babyface champion, I think babyface champions, like they have to want to fight for it. Do you know what I mean? Like with champion, when they have prestigious championships, they want to. It's something that you get fighting champions. It's something they want to fight for. It's something they want to. That's something that they will fight for. That they'll die for. And I think with villain champions, you have to put your own. The belt also has to be special, but you've got to do it a different way. It's got to be something that you'll kick, scream, and steal for. Do you know what I mean? I think babyfaces, the championship. A championship is something they should die for, and I think for a villain, a championship is something they would want to kill for. I'll kill for this. I'll steal it. I'll do everything I can to keep my hands on it. So really, I just want to walk out. I just would like, when it's time to move on, I just want this reign. I just want to be able to walk out of the reign with more than I walked in with it with, and the same. Like, I think a big dream, my sort of big dream that I have really is and I've been collecting them one by one, is once the reign comes to an end, I would really love to be able to just take every photo of every baby face that I've wrestled and stolen the belt from, and take all of the photos of them getting standing ovations and just put them in a collage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And be like, this is, because this is, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Because it's just like, this is, this is the legacy that I left. I left 6 to 8 to 10 baby faces who should all technically be the champion. And I think that's I think that's what villains do, is that they should leave a title reign, with a trail behind them of stars. That's what their job is to do, and I take that job very seriously, and that, and also just to cause as much havoc as I can.
So for you, it's easy to act like a villain, because you seem an humble guy, a good guy, so it's easy for you to be a villain.
Yeah, it is. Okay. It isn't. It's, to me. Just I think it. Cause I teach wrestling a little bit, and when I teach character to people, which is the thing that people usually ask me to teach them, is that I say to people, you have to, one thing that's really good, if you can, is to lean into your realities, lean into what's real for you. And for me, in real life, I don't think I'm a bad person. I think I'm, I think I'm okay. I think, I think I'm, I try my best and whatever, but, I'm quite an anxious person in many ways. Making friends doesn't come easily to me. I have a very, a very low social battery, so I run out of energy. For social exercises quite quickly. If I go to a wedding, unless I start to drink a bit, which I don't like to do very much, then it's not uncommon to find me missing and sitting on a bench somewhere. And I can be a bit, and within that I can control it, but I can be quite prone to being a little bit depressed, a little bit angry. I can be like, I can lose my temper quite quickly. As a man in his 30s, I can control it fine, but it doesn't mean that they're not there. So it doesn't mean it's not there. So I just sort of lean into that. I just sort of lean into that side of me, and then I blow it up by 10.
Okay. You're really you.
Well, I just sort of I was an actor before, and when I was at drama school, I had this amazing teacher who would always just say like, "Okay, we'll take that," and you'd say, and a director as well, and he'd say, "Well, what about this?" And he'd ask you a question, like, "Have you ever done that? Have you ever been cheated on? Have you ever lied to a friend? Have you ever done this?" And you'd be like, yeah, I have. And you'd be like, "Well, how does that make you feel?" And you're like, "Well, it's this." And like, "Okay, what if?" And then you just dump a load of extra stuff on top of it. Do you know what I mean? And like, "Well, what if it was like this and this?" And you make it more dramatic, and then you connect to that, and it can just make you more angry. Do you know what I mean? And so in that sense, it's also like a nice problem-solving exercise. So like sometimes you'll get a booking, you'll get the booking of something, and then you'll want to look at it and be like, "Okay, how can I make this work, but also just extract as much heat from it as possible? How can I walk away from this just looking like the biggest piece of shit ever?"
But I think your biggest moment in a villain role was during your story against with Cara Noir. In particular, the I Quit loser leaves progress in chapter 135. There, I think okay, give me Spike Trivet for the World Championship.
I think so too. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that by that point, yeah, I agree. I mean, I walked back through the curtain of that stage, and something had changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something had changed. People were really, really mad, and people were like, and I think there was a kind of changing of like, "Oh, here he is. Here's the next. Here's the next big piece of shit." You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. But I think that that rivalry becomes great, like Jimmy Havoc against Will Ospreay, or the world title reign of Mark Haskins. So I think your matches against Cara Noir become a real solid part of the last year of progress. Absolutely.
Sure. I agree. I think as it stands, personally, I think it was the best. I think it was the best feud in British wrestling I think, like, whether or not the I Quit match was the best match in terms of, like, just in general as a standalone match or whatever, then I think that's something that can be debated. Well, it could all be debated, but I think that what me and Tom created in 2022 was by far. I think it was the best feud of. I think it was the best feud of 2022 in British wrestling, and I would put it up against. And I would put what we created up against any feud that happened that year in wrestling in general.
Yes, the Progress Wrestling probably is famous for writing great history during their time, and yes, one of this story in particular was great, absolutely. But another great chapter of your title reign was against Big Demo. because during the unboxing live you defeated the Scottish Beast once again. And
the Irish. He's Irish.
Sorry, Irish. Absolutely sorry.
Irish. It's okay.
Yes.
The beast of Belfast.
Yes, the Beast of in over the top wrestling. Absolutely sorry.
It's okay.
And yes, you retained the title. Probably the match that elevated you once again, like the face of progress in this very moment. How do you feel about that? And do you have any future goal in progress wrestling, not only for your title reign, but in general for become a real face of the company?
I just want to find ways. I think the goal for me now is just to turn up the just turn up the dial on just being the worst human being that Progress has ever seen. Okay. Like, okay. I think so. I mean, like, I think I would really like it that if anybody wants to be the next big villain of Progress after me, then people would say, like, you have big shoes to fill. You know, like, it's not, you know, like it's, you know, you're not just going to go out there and get the same kind of heat that Spike Trivet got. Do you know what I mean? But I have loads of things I want to do, not just in Progress, but in wrestling in general. You know, I want to use it as a platform to get to the next stage of my career within Progress. I'd like to have a feud with a woman. Mm-hmm. I think that's something that would be really interesting. Although I think that there might be some political issues there, but I think it could be doable. I'd like to have a feud with a woman. I would like to be a catalyst that helps people that helps like other talent in any environment tell a story. You know, like just mm-hmm. I think that storytelling in wrestling is surprisingly few and far between. I think everything is fireworks and transitions, which is not to say that's an issue. I think that that's the fireworks and transitions are amazing, you know, and I can watch any match that's like that, that's hard hitting fire and transitions and be like and be blown away by it. So that's not to say that that's lesser than storytelling at all, because it isn't. I think wrestling is a variety show, and there should be something in it for everyone. But I do think, that being said, that storytelling, particularly in independent wrestling, is very few and far between. It doesn't, you know, I don't think it gets done. I think it doesn't get done very well very often. I think mm-hmm. that it becomes overcomplicated. You know, I think people try to overcomplicate things. They're always trying to work, you know, like I think promotions are always trying to work for the swerve. They're always trying to confuse the fans. And actually, you know, not everything has to be a big Shakespearean tragedy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes the most entertaining films that make the most money are just great stories that are easy to follow. You know, like just a great story that's really easy to follow. This, you know, there's this person and there's this person, and they have a dispute, and somehow that gets worse and worse and worse. Mm-hmm. And then it ends up with these two guys wanting to kill each other, or two women wanting to kill each other. And I think I would like to be, you know, that's kind of something I want to do, is I would like to have lots of people. Like, one thing I get a lot of, and people don't, because I don't have Twitter, and also because I don't really work a style that's like fireworks style. You know, you see a lot of people, a lot of young people in wrestling who write their BritRest lists. This is my list mm-hmm. for the year of people I want to work, and I'm very rarely on anyone's list. However, my DMs are full of wrestlers saying, "I'd really like to work a story with you this year." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Part of me thinks like, well, if you want that, put it on the fucking list so that people can see it. But that's something I would like to do. I'd like to have a feud with a woman. I'd like to. I'd like to just do stories that get people through the door. I just want people to pay to watch me get beaten up.
Mm-hmm. So, Lord Spike Trivet. So that's your nickname.
That's
so
the deal.
yeah, that's the deal. You had two strange fact that happens to you in these maybe last 2 years. One of this is your return in Italy after 2018 in Imitidal Wrestling against Flavio
Yeah.
Augusto. And
Uh-huh.
do you like Italian style?
Yeah, I like Italian. I like the Italian style. I like everything. I like all styles. I think
Mhm.
I thought it was great. I thought the venue was amazing. I thought Flavio was extremely positive and very fun to work with. I thought the crowd, I thought the fans were great. I thought, I thought Michelle, who was the promoter of the show, looked after me and the other talent fabulously well. I walked away from that with my only complaint of the whole thing was that I wasn't able to be in Naples for longer.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing I wished I could have changed, was that I could have stayed a little bit longer. But that's nobody else's. That's no one's fault. It's just the way it was. Although I think I did. I think I missed my flight home. I missed my flight home.
Okay.
So I was able to. So I was able to spend a little more time in Naples, albeit in the airport.
Okay. And
Yeah, I missed my. I remember that.
would you like to return? And do you see any talent that would you wrestle against?
I'm not. To be honest, I'm not too familiar. I'm unfortunately, I feel quite guilty to say that I'm not too familiar with lots of Italian talent. But there's not, but I'd work with anybody anytime.
Okay.
I'll wrestle anyone, anywhere, for any reason. It doesn't that doesn't faze me at all.
Okay.
Right now we have Emir Jordan with like IWA Italian champion. Is a former NXT UK talent. So I think Spike Trivet against Emir Jordan will be a perfect perfect duo for that championship.
I think that I would be very up for that. I've wrestled Emir Jordan a couple of times, but I haven't wrestled him for about 4 years.
Okay.
So I haven't wrestled him for a long time. So that's something I'd be very happy to do. As I say, I'd wrestle anyone, anywhere, anytime, for whatever reason.
You're always ready.
Always.
Yeah. So the other fun fact, there is the Progress debut in Dubai. So, do you like that kind of show? Or and
Hello, guys.
Can
Can you hear us,
Spike?
Are you there?
We see a little bit freezing.
Okay. He's there.
I've lost you a little bit, guys. You're cutting out a lot.
Okay.
Okay, we lost him.
Yeah. Lo tiro fuori un attimo, Aldo, tanto questa la devi tagliare sicuramente.
Ma sì, vabbè, la parte video rimane,
Ok,
però non fa niente.
ok.
Non fa niente. Un saluto amici del PWC.
Ciao amici, ciao amici.
Perché adesso preoccupati, adesso gli facciamo tirare fuori la
Eccolo,
cintura.
eccolo,
Eccolo
eccolo.
qui. No,
Not
okay.
sure what's
Vai.
happened there.
Are you there, Spike?
Welcome back.
Okay, okay. I'm asking
Sorry.
about your progress debut in Dubai. So,
Yes.
do you like that kind of event and that kind of attendance, the fans?
Yeah, I mean, I had worked for WrestleFest DXB
Mhm.
in mid-September of 2022. So I had already worked there. I had worked at um, at a wrestling school in the UK called Playfight,
Okay.
and I've worked there for about 18. I'd worked there for about 18 months, and we had a group of students who were from Dubai. So we had the main attraction MK, the True Hero. I can't remember how to pronounce his wrestling name. Fireart, I think. Fireart. Shaheen, the Essence of Dubai. Nova Knox had been with us briefly. Eli Hush had come too. So there'd been like 5 or 6 of them, but particularly MK and another couple of guys. And I had wrestled MK on a student show, and I'd formed a really good sort of friendship with him. And they asked me if I wanted to come to Dubai and defend the Progress title, and Progress wanted me to do that, so I went there and did it. And the show was great, the attendance was great, the fans were fantastic. The people involved in WrestleFest DXB are some of the nicest, some of the nicest, kindest, professional, forward-thinking, progressive young people I've ever met in my life. As was the crowd, and it was it's just a really fantastic independent promotion, and so that was great. And then me and Dan Maloney had been there previously, and it's more give credit to Dan Maloney because he's currently the Dubai World Champion, and he had said had formed a relationship between Progress and WrestleFest DXB, and they created the Progress show in Dubai, and the show itself was fantastic. It was really good, and I wrestled Axel Tisha. Axel Tisha on that show.
Yeah, we know.
I think that was
we know Axel.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was one of the best matches, if not the best in-ring match I've ever had. It goes live today on the WWE Network if anybody wants to watch it. And today being, I think, the 8th or 9th of January. So yeah, it was a fantastic experience all round.
Okay, and Spike, I have a question that I do with to a lot of wrestler. We see in recent wrestling there is a big problem with the mental issue. Do you think that maybe the association needs a professional doctor or medical support or mental support in this kind of federation, maybe also in major?
Well, I mean, that's a really good question, because I think that we obviously live in a time now where it's becoming more normalized to talk about mental health issues. I I always think it's better to say mental health issues, because sometimes you hear people say like, I've got mental health. And
Yeah,
if you heard somebody say, I have health, then you'd be like, good
yeah.
for you.
Mental
I'm
health
glad you
issue.
have health. Uh, um, well, Progress Wrestling have a counselor
Okay,
on
okay,
staff
that's important.
that and if you have like any sort of issue, you can go to the progress management and say, I'm having some problems, and they'll put you in touch with their counselor. And this man is paid by Progress Wrestling, and he's
Okay,
always on
okay.
staff should you need him. He's not at the shows, but
That's good. Probably
Yeah,
they are the only indie company
yeah.
that do it.
Because they feel like a normal health need,
Yes,
like a
yes.
medical. So that's so cool. Yeah.
yeah, Progress get a lot of stick for lots of stuff, but they pay the best. They have the best safeguarding. They have the best. They spend the most on safeguarding. They spend the most on backstage physio work. They spend the most on helping people with their mental health. I feel that the management of Progress now, I know that lots of people reach out to them to talk to them and to speak to them. I would never want to speak for anybody in particular, but I feel like the women's division of Progress seem to feel very at home with the Progress management and speak to them and have great relationships with them. But yeah, I mean, they spend the most on care for the wrestlers. But going back to not just the wrestlers, anyone on their team, I feel.
Mhm.
But I mean, going back to the mental health issue, it's a really good question. I mean, I know that without saying too much, my partner was with the WWE for a short while,
Mhm.
and they had issues to do with their mental health, to do with stuff that happened in their life, and they went to the WWE, and then the WWE paid about £250 a week for about a year and a bit for
Mhm.
them to have the best therapy they possibly could. So, so, and it helped a lot. And my partner still has a relationship with their therapist now. Um, I think the thing about it's really interesting because I was actually talking because my partner is now at university studying to do
Mhm.
counselling and psychology. I think that the problem with wrestling, it's not a problem with wrestling, it's a thing that wrestling does, is that like wrestling does have a tendency to be quite taxing on your mental health, because it hurts, you are tired a lot, you travel a lot, you're always kind of dealing with something, but also there's an extra layer of issue to it, which is like if you are in boxing or UFC or anything like that,
Mhm.
there's not, you know, for the most part, there's very little dispute as to who's the best because the
Okay.
person who's the best
Mhm.
wins all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Anderson Silva was the best for a long time because he won all the time. Jose Aldo was the best for 10 years because he won all the time. And whereas Ronda Rousey was the best because she won all the time. Until they eventually lost or anything else. Whereas with wrestling, it's different. It's not. It's not about that. It's about sort of who's more over, and
Mhm.
sometimes you choose. Sometimes promoters choose people to be more over, and they push people, and they don't push others for whatever reason, and that can play quite heavily on your mental health. That can sort of make you think, well, why? It's a little bit more of a grey area. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I certainly don't think that social media is the answer.
Yeah, of course, of course. We had an example 2 years ago with the situation of I don't remember the name of the
The
Japanese
speaking
girl.
out, the speaking out. Ah,
The
no,
Yeah,
I
Hannah,
am.
Hannah,
Yes,
Hannah Kimura.
Yeah, yeah, Anna
Hana
Kimura.
Kimura.
A lot of criticize on social media. So I
Well,
think it's a
I
big
think,
problem for
I think,
mental
I
artists.
think, well, I think the social media issue is it's not just the criticism. Also, it's also just I see a lot of people, particularly younger people, go online and voice
Okay,
lots of
yeah,
different
that's
things,
right.
and sometimes, sometimes the best thing for your mental health is to be challenged, not to be affirmed. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes the
Yeah,
best thing for your mental health is not to be in an echo chamber. Sometimes it's the right thing, but it's not always the right thing. So I don't think that's the answer. I think the best advice that I can give to anybody is if you feel like you're lost or you feel like things aren't going as or you feel like things are difficult, then it's okay to reach out and talk to somebody. In fact, it's the right thing to do to reach out and talk to somebody. I myself have had struggled with my mental health my whole life since I was a teenager, and I have sought um, therapy and help, and I'm a better person for having done it.
hmm yeah,
So
of course. Yeah, yeah,
that's all I can say. I think some wrestling companies struggle to be able to afford a medic, so it'd be hard to find some independent companies that can afford a medic and an on staff counselor. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
it's a real hard one. It's a
yeah,
hard one.
yeah. We appreciate for your words on this.
Probably the
Yeah,
biggest social message
yeah.
of our interview list. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Maybe.
absolutely.
Yeah. And Lord Trivet, we I think that
The,
it's the time for the
it's
biggest
time.
question. Yeah, yeah,
It's time,
of the
baby. It's
interview.
time.
For the
Oh
biggest
God, what's going
question.
on?
So, do you have some funny facts or funny stories that you could share to us in or extra ring?
In the wrestling ring.
Yeah,
Uh,
Don't
oh
worry,
God.
we are not police. Don't
we are not
worry.
police, so
Uh, I got funny, any funny stories? I don't know if I've got any. Uh, no, I don't really know if I've got any funny stories from the wrestling ring. My time in the ring has usually been pretty straightforward. I'm just trying to think of. I'm just trying to think of anything that may have happened. Um, anything that may have happened to me. Like, I thought in my recent match with Big Damo
Mhm.
at unboxing, I thought
Okay. Okay.
I was quite ill. I was quite ill all the way through December. So I landed from Dubai, flew from Dubai to the UK, and then I came home, saw my partner, went to sleep, and when I woke up, as I woke up, I literally opened my eyes and was surprised, was shocked by how ill I was, and I had like a really bad stomach upset, and I was actually ill for about I've sort of really only just gotten over it in general, and there was a point where me and Big Damo were having the match, and uh, the next big thing that was going to happen was that he was going to give me his crossbody,
Mhm.
Okay.
you
Okay.
know, and he's about. I don't want to say how much he weighs because I actually don't know, and I don't want to say too much and it just be very offensive because I don't know. But he's a big guy. He's a big boy, and when he lands on you, you feel it. And as we got into the match, I started to feel something in my stomach, and I was like, oh no, I think I'm going to shit myself. And there was a bit where I was like, so I was clenching my lower body to like stop anything from coming out, and then I realized that the next big spot was I was going to have to take his crossbody. And when he takes his crossbody, what he tells you to do is he tells you to open your body out and put your hands up above your head as if you're diving. Because what he actually does is he flies downward and catches you right in the abdomen.
Okay.
So he's this huge man flying right into your abdomen. And the spot was I climb up to the second rope, I kick him in the face, I jump over him, I go to give him the code breaker and he ducks, so I jump over him, I turn around and he hits me with the crossbody. And as I was climbing the rope, I was like, I'm going to shit myself. I was like, I'm going to shit myself. I can feel it. And I was thinking, I'm going to shit
That's
myself.
a problem.
It was a problem. Yeah, it was the biggest problem. And I was thinking that I was going to shit myself without the crossbody. Do you know what I mean? Like I was like,
Okay. Yeah.
you know, and so I jumped over him, and as I turned around, I just absolutely clenched my whole body, so I was just stiff as a board, and he flew right into my abdomen, and I bumped underneath him, and luckily nothing came out, but because I clenched my whole body and I wasn't relaxed at all.
Okay.
It turned out to be like one of the most painful bumps I've ever taken in my life. I was just a board, and he just crushed me, and I was just holding everything. But I would rather do that than what the other thing would have been.
Okay. That's a shitty situation.
It was a shitty situation. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. I don't know if there's anything else in particular that I would. No, I can't think of anything else. My time in wrestling has been eventful, but also kind of pretty straight down the line.
Okay.
In many ways, I hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Messiah.
Yes, I want to share with our Lord a special moment before our goodbye. So I want Spike to introduce you as Progress Wrestling World Champion when you show us the title belt.
Sorry, say again. So you'd like me to introduce?
I want to introduce you, Spike Trivet, the Progress Wrestling World Champion, and when I say it, you show us the world title,
Sure.
the belt. Okay?
Sure. I just happen to have it here because I carry it around my house.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome for the Progress Wrestling World Champion, Spike Trivet. Fantastic.
There you go.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic.
There it is.
Awesome.
Very beautiful.
Awesome. Spike,
Very
thank
good.
you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for the platform. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We hope to see you very, very early, very soon.
I hope to see you guys soon too.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
No, bye-bye. Thank you.